You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Welcome to the E3 coverage special of 808s and Joysticks. In this show, we will be discussing Ubisoft E3 2019. I'm Tairell, and joining me for this special, as always, is Tom.
Yeah, so Ubisoft was quite a long one, but there were some decent aspects to it. I don't know whether to start off with kicking off straight away with the big thing, or just sort of gloss over and talk about existing games and some interesting stuff they spoke about. So that'd be something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which they mentioned. And they're actually bringing a story creator and educational mode to the game, which is it's very interesting. Like, this is the first time I've seen like a story creator mode come to a RPG style game. And you can create and write your own dialogues and add characters to the main game using the online service. And I think you can then download that onto your game, and it is free for all players. So no matter if you're on console or PC, you are able to use the story creator mode. I think it's a very unique, interesting, cool way to keep people interested in games like this, where they love story content. If you can write your own story content for that game and then play through it, it's basically like a no-brainer, and it's a very, very clever thing to do.
This essentially allows people to like team up online and create like brand new chapters of games together. If you know, it's a web-based tool that can easily implement some sort of like chat system or some type of like, you know, messaging system where groups of like, you know, designers and teams can get together and create new storylines for this Assassin's Creed title, which kind of goes to show why they've stepped away from the Assassin's Creed game this year and decided to pursue a new project, which we will get into a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, that as well as the discovery mode, which is like quite identical to the educational mode, that looks amazing as well. I think that's just a great way to see the more historical side of Assassin's Creed, which has been quite accurate and has been used for, I think it has been used to like cite like historical accuracy for certain buildings and things like that because of the one-for-one nature that they are. So that's quite interesting, and it's nice to see that Assassin's Creed is still holding some relevancy so many years down the line. And yeah, this is just a really interesting way to extend that type of storyline, I guess.
Yeah, I like the fact that the educational mode is basically, it's a way for people to go and interactively learn with stuff that they, you know, if you don't like history as much but you like this game, then it's a nice way to learn about the history behind it as well. And also, you know, if people don't get the opportunity to get to travel to those places, then they're still sort of seeing it there built up, like you just said, like one for one. Seeing the art that all the artists have put in and all the detail that's been put in and all the research that's gone into that to replicate what that used to look like. So it really is a good thing. I think many games that sort of follow this path should have something like that in them.
Yeah, I really feel like that as well. Well, Ubisoft have been really quite focused on live services from quite a while ago, and I felt like this is just their way of testing how to extend the game's life cycle without having to actually put content of their own in there, which is got like user generated content, which I feel like is quite underutilized sometimes by certain developers, where users are willing to create content for their favorite game. You can see in mods and the modding community of certain games take games on for so long. Like Skyrim, I believe wouldn't be as popular as it is today without the modding community still supporting that game day in, day out, I'm creating new and exciting mods. Just the same with GTA as well. I still don't think that game would be as big as it is, just because due to the mods and how powerful those mods are, and how certain YouTube content creators have made their whole career off GTA mods and using them and using the craziest mods and things like that. So that's quite interesting as well to see how Ubisoft are testing out different ways of extending the life cycle of a video game after launch.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the big thing that's interesting that come out of this, I'm just going to jump straight into it, was Watch Dogs Legion. Now, there's been rumors that Watch Dogs 3 was been in the works for a long time. It was meant to be, well, there was rumors that it was going to be announced last year. We didn't see it. We did see it this year though, and yeah, the game looks good. It basically takes what Watch Dogs was, I don't know, times it by 10, adds in a sort of I don't know, like squad system, you could say, which allows you to basically like recruit people into your your hacker squad, and then you can control any of them that are in your squad. But also there's permadeath in it as well, so if one of those people dies in your squad, then they're gone, so you lose their skills and you have to refine someone else with the same skills to recruit again. I really like it. I like the whole concept of it. I think it's something Watch Dogs was maybe missing. You know, the first one was good as a starting point, but this seems like they've found what it's meant to be now.
Like Watch Dogs 1, we actually both played that game together and like almost nearly completed it together. Like we played a lot of it. And Watch Dogs 2, I completed that, and that was a really great upgrade to like the Watch Dogs system and the hacking system, and it was such a fun game to play. Like I loved playing that game, so I can't wait to play this new Watch Dogs, which looks a little bit more gritty, maybe a little bit less lighthearted than the last Watch Dogs game, which wasn't lighthearted in content at all, but I mean in terms of like the color and the way how the game is presented and the aesthetic of it, it fits much more of a British look and vibe, where we can kind of resonate with that a lot more than the San Francisco vibe, because we don't live in San Francisco, we live in England. So this is also kind of a little bit like a near future for us as well, because it is set in post-Brexit London. Whatever is about to happen with Brexit, this could be our future. Like, what I'm hoping it's not some type of I'm hoping it's not some type of totalitarian. Well, doubtful, not really. Come on now. Like, I'm always like it's a totalitarian surveillance state. It could easily become like that. Who knows? I don't know. We seen what happened with the drones. It took down an airplane, took down an airport for like 3 days. Imagine if we just had drones everywhere. It could be chaos.
I don't know. I like the whole concept of it. It's cool. The fact that it's set in London, like, is good. The one thing I didn't like about the trailer, the shitty British accents. Oh my god. Like, just hire some English people. Like,
what do you mean? They were English people.
Yeah, but they're putting on some really, like, over-the-top accents.
What do you mean? They're from London. They're Cockney.
Cockneys don't sound like that. Sorry, like, it's like the one thing that, like, had a little bit for me. Just the fact that the Cockney accent was, like, too put on. You know, Cockneys aren't that happy. So, I don't know, it looks like a good game.
To be honest, I just don't know why, like, everyone always has to portray, like, London to be, like, this kind of, like, gritty underbelly. Like, where was, like, I just don't know, like, where was the representation of, like, all types of people? Like, there's not only that type of, person in England. Like, it was just weird to see. It was just the same, like, typical London, like, British accent, which was just kind of a little bit like, oh, wow, like, not everyone in London even sounds like that. There is, like, they sound different, like, they all sound like they're starring EastEnders. Like, it's just, I do understand what you're saying about that, to be honest.
I can't wait for the EastEnders DLC.
Probably that would probably be really interesting.
Phil Mitchell as a playable character.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd probably buy it for that, just for the fun.
But yeah, Watch Dogs Legion is out next year, March, and yeah, it's probably one of the biggest games to come out of E3. It wasn't really a shock because everyone knew Watch Dogs was coming soon. So
I think it was a shock at how gritty the game looked compared to previous Watch Dogs games. Like, it was hard to tell what game it was to start with. Like, it did look very much like a Beyond Good and Evil 2, but it wasn't. It was Watch Dogs. So
yeah, I can see what you mean by that. Like, they've obviously got like a brand new engine, or they're using like an updated engine, because it does look a lot more refined graphically, and like the lighting and everything, and the shadows look a lot more darker. Like, I do understand what you mean with the comparison of the new Beyond Good and Evil 2 game, which was absent from Ubisoft's conference for whatever reason. We're just going to get into that real quick. Well, what do you think that was about? I have my theory, but what about yours?
I'm not sure. I feel like my theory is that this game is quite similar to it in, like, aesthetically, and they probably didn't want to bring that on. The other thing is, with Cyberpunk 2077 round the corner, maybe they've chose to delay it because they know that they're not going to win against that game. But I was a bit upset because we've been seeing a lot of Beyond Good and Evil 2, especially with last E3, with the whole community collective thing they were trying to do, getting people to have input into the game. To not see anything this year is a bit upsetting, and it seems like the game might have been put on the back burner, which I don't want to believe. So I'm fingers crossed hoping for something at any of the other conferences, so like Tokyo, Paris, or Gamescom, something like that. Just anywhere, I'm hoping to see something, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to hold my hopes too high because the game's been meant to be coming out for a long time now. But your theory could be similar.
Mine is much more of like I think maybe just a bit more of like a wilder one. That I think that maybe Ubisoft might be afraid to keep showing Beyond Good and Evil off, and they maybe don't want to be held in such a spotlight, so the game is overhyped too much, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to just work on it steadily, show what they can at the time, and try and basically not have the same potfalls as like Fallout 76 and Anthem and some of the other like commercial flops that have come from some of these bigger bigger development houses. Yeah, maybe that is the reason why we haven't seen Beyond Good and Evil 2 this E3, but it is very strange because we've seen Beyond Good and Evil 2 at 2 E3s now. For it to not be at this E3 is leading me to believe that maybe this game is not coming out until maybe 2021 one now. Mm-hmm. Maybe not even 2020. Next gen systems only. I don't know.
It does look like it could be next gen systems only, the way it's going now.
But did they ever confirm it for any system yet?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, there we go then. We're probably seeing it for next gen systems only. Maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen it at this E3. And that might be the reason for why some games aren't being shown at this E3, could suggest that they are now next gen titles, which is a little bit scary because there's quite a few that are missing. So, yeah, that's about it really for Beyond Good and Evil 2. We're going to keep moving on with Ubisoft because there is a few things, but not a lot of things, but there is a few more things. So John Berthel, which is Walking Dead Punisher star, he's going to have a prominent role in the brand new Ghost Recon game coming out October 4th, so that's this year. Yeah, I don't really have much thoughts on this. Like, I thought the last Ghost Recon was going to be really good, and it wasn't that great. Well, it wasn't as good as they portrayed it to be. What do you think about Ghost Recon?
Looked okay. I mean, I'm not too interested in Ghost Recon that much. The trailer didn't really show too much off, but I mean, it is coming. They did come out after on the stage for a presentation and state that they are going to be fully supporting this game for a long time. As well, like all the Tom Clancy games, they've come out and said they're going to be supporting them all for a long time, which is good. It means that they are going towards that games as a live service sort of thing that Ubisoft were trying to push for. And I think with this new, new era of Tom Clancy games, you could say, or new generation, like the new Ghost Recon, the new Rainbow Six that they're bringing out, they are going to be pushing towards keeping these on the market for a longer time than usual. Yeah, I think they started off well with Ghost Recon Wildlands and Rainbow Six Siege. You know, those games did really well, but I think the next one, they've learned a lot from that, and they're going to be pushing towards that. They mentioned a lot of community stuff as well, so they really want to try and build a community around this now and get people playing and interacting with each other for longer than normal.
Well, interestingly you say that, because I feel like there's a few games that were like missing as well from the starting lineup, such as what game that did they talk about last year? Damn it, it's just gone out of my head. Trials is missing. Also, what else is missing as well? Another Ubisoft game, main title.
Far Cry
wasn't spoke about as well.
Far Cry.
Also, where's Skull and Bones? Skull and Bones
is missing. It's not there.
You see what I mean? Like, it's just a bunch of things that they need, but they want to be announcing Just Dance 2020 for the Wii is still coming.
Please don't. I'm fed up of watching that every year.
It's cringy. And why they're releasing it for the Wii, but they haven't released it for the Wii U? I think that's racist.
It's coming to Switch anyway, so.
But why bring it out for the Wii, but not for the Wii U? What is the point? Please tell me what's the point of that?
I don't know who's watching the E3 conference that plays that game. I know a lot of people play that game. A lot of young kids play that game. That's fine. But don't fill up 10 minutes of your conference with dancing around in panda suits and music and shit. Like, I'm here to watch games. I'm not here to watch people dance about in suits about a game no one cares about. You know, there's not 40-year-old guys out there with neckbeards dancing to Just Dance. If there is, please send me a link to that video because I'll watch it. But I don't think there is. You know, people are here to play stuff like Rainbow Six Siege, Watch Dogs, Far Cry. You know, not here for Just Dance.
No, I'm sick of these shitty ass like promo things you keep doing. Also, like, has the Ubisoft Nintendo partnership, like, is that over now? Like, because I don't see anything to do with them anymore. Like, is that like finished now? Because I've not heard one mention of Nintendo again.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm really like trolling through this. This conference was this E3 is lackluster this year so far, man. I'm not really that great. What else we've got on this list that we're going to talk about? Roller Champions thoughts.
Well, firstly, there's the new Rainbow Six Quarantine as well.
Oh yeah, okay. Now that looks sick because that's a 3-player co-op tactical shooter. So that looks interesting.
That's coming in 2020 as well. So another game for 2020.
Interesting. Very interesting, but I'm hoping that it's just not your typical zombie shooter game because we haven't seen much. That's the thing, is that everything's coming in 2020, but we wasn't seeing much of anything. And the only thing we really got like a little bit of a look at was Watch Dogs. You know, they're showing off the Division a bit more, but that's already out. But then, interestingly, they had a Division film that was announced that's going to be coming out with Netflix, and the movie is being directed by David Leitch, who's the guy who did Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a decent game. game. This could be a decent film. Seeing as Netflix is also like behind the helm as well, we could see like a pretty decent game movie. Seeing as like game movies had like a good start with Detective Pikachu this year, so maybe it might set off like a good string of movies. You know, Sonic's being reworked on, even though I don't think we could save that film now. And yeah, hopefully this will be a good year for game films.
Yeah. And then there's also Tom Clancy take on Smash Brothers is what people are calling it. It's called Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which is just a mobile game, basically. But it's like it's like a tactical mobile game. I don't know why people are comparing it to Smash Brothers. It's not like Smash Brothers at all.
It's nothing like Smash Brothers. I don't know why people even bother trying to like.
I think it's because you've got all the characters from all the Tom Clancy franchise in one. So you have everyone from like Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, all in a mass shootout.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, yeah, but like from all the Tom Clancy games, the only person that anybody ever cares about is Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. I don't know any character names from any of the other Tom Clancy games, so why would I care about some of these other characters?
Well, yeah, but some people do. You know, it's more to do with like the different, not even character names, more just like character abilities, stuff like that. So the Splinter Cell is a character in the Elite Squad by the looks of it. And then there'll be like a Ghost Recon style character as well. But if you're into the Tom Clancy sort of universe, you could say, I don't know, the TCEU, Tom Clancy Extended Universe.
All right. Let's cut that shit out. I'm not calling it that, okay?
Well, I mean, if you're into that, there's a mobile game coming for it. Take a look at that. It doesn't look that good, but it looks better than some of the mobile games we've seen this E3 so far.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But back to Roller Champions that you were talking about. I actually quite like the look of this.
It's not that bad. It's like, it reminds me of Rocket League a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Rocket League with rollerblades in a basketball and humans. So it's not Rocket League at all, but
you get people get what we're saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't look too bad. Like, I'm just looking at like a little bit of gameplay of it now because I didn't know there was a gameplay trailer. I only seen like the cinematic, and it's exactly like Rocket League.
Yeah, free demos available now to play between the 10th of June and the 14th of June. I might download it and have a little play on it because it does look interesting. I can't see myself getting very addicted to it. But people that like this sort of game, I can see why it would be a good game for them to play. You know, it's a little bit different to something like Rocket League or can't think of another game. Just mainly Rocket League. It's a bit different to that. It reminds me of dodgeball in a way, or Quidditch sort of, but on rollerblades. Like, it's a weird concept, but it works. And there's definitely a gap in the market for something like this, some sort of light-hearted game that could be classed as esports as well. You know, so I think that's what they've got on their mind, and also is perfect for a live service game.
Yeah, it is, to be honest. Yeah, it's going to work, isn't it? It's going to work for a bit because Rocket League has done so well, and yeah, it's a free-to-play game. If it has the cross-play in there, yeah, it could very well work. Also, just talking about with like free-to-play and like, you know, live services, Ubisoft is launching its own PC subscription service as well, which is just another streaming / cloud gaming announcement from a development company, which is really interesting. So $14.99 a month, I'm guessing maybe roughly like probably about £12.99 in the UK or EU, or is it
$14.99 a month in the UK as well.
In the UK as well. So $14.99 in the UK as well, and users get access to more than 100 Ubisoft titles, including the DLC. Because why wouldn't you have the DLC as well? Like, what? Like, they're saying that as in, like, that's a thing. Like, it's launching on September the 3rd, and it will be usable with Google Stadia as well. So that's really interesting to see that other streaming services can be used on other streaming services. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that just goes to show that Stadia could very well include a Sony streaming channel and an Xbox streaming channel and a Nintendo streaming channel, and Google Stadia could be like the streaming person to go to for gaming. Well, it's getting real dangerous out here.
It's a bit different because this is a subscription service, so you still have to install these games on a subscription service, but I'm guessing that if you link it to Stadia, you can, because you have access to those games through a library, you can then stream those games.
But why would you be in a position where you wouldn't be on your PC on Stadia? I guess maybe on your phone or something, which makes more sense. I don't know, really. It is confusing. I want to know why someone would use Stadia to play on it. Just surely you would use the base thing, wouldn't you? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's there in it if you want to pay for it, and it's launching on September the 3rd.
Yeah, to me, it seems a bit expensive compared to Microsoft's Game Pass, which is $7.99 a month.
Exactly, and Microsoft gives you a ton of different games. Like, it doesn't just give you Ubisoft games. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm trying to think. There's
one more thing I wanted
to
say about that as well. If you do sign up now for, I think it's Uplay Plus, then you do get the first month for free, I believe, to test it out when it launches on September 3rd. I think that's what they said.
Oh, interesting.
So it's worth having a look at, even if you just try it out for a month and then cancel. All these things are worth having a look at, especially when there's like free deals or free games coming out around E3. It's always worth just having a look at them. Even if you don't play it or you play it for 5 minutes, you get an understanding of what it is, and then, if you do want to buy it later down the line, then you've had an experience with it.
I agree. The 1 month, so do you just go to the website and sign up? Like, can players do that now? Or is that like is it a limited time offer, or is it just the E3 offer?
I think it's a E3 offer maybe, but it might be limited until they actually launch the service.
Okay. Which is quite a while away now. So,
yeah. So
I want to sign up. I just want to see if I can get a month for free as well.
Players who sign up now between now and August 15th. So August 15th is the deadline. You'll be able to get free access to Uplay from September the 3rd through to September the 30th. So the whole of September is free on Uplay if you sign up before August 15th.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'll be looking forward to that. Because I want to just test out. I've never tested one of these kind of services before, so I would like to see how Ubisoft does it. And I want to be testing out Xbox's Game Pass as well to see how that operates and runs as well.
The other thing is you do have to provide a valid credit card for that. So if you don't cancel after September 30th, you will get charged for the next month. So I'm not being held liable to that. We're not being held liable to that. That is your decision.
Make sure that you follow in accordance of your laws and things like that. What you're going to do, make sure you cancel it on time. We're not getting anybody in trouble. If money comes out your account, that's on you. So, and really all we have else next is to talk about really is just they've got a mockumentary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just really random, and it's coming to Apple TV from everything. Like, Apple TV, why that? And apparently it's not really clear how Ubisoft is involved either. So I don't know if this is going to be a comedy series about a game being created by Ubisoft and it's actually really going to release.
No, it's so basically it is The guy,
it's like a parody.
So it's Rob McAnally from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he is like I think he's the creative director of the studio making a game. I think it's called like Mythical Quest or Mythic Quest or something. And he's sort of playing this big ego role as a creative director who's like overlooking the studio and the game. And it's like you said, mockumentary style sitcom based around a game studio, which is interesting. So it's like a little bit like The Office in a way, but like in a
that's
game
what I was
studio.
thinking.
And like a lot of the Always Sunny cast are behind the scenes working on it as well. So you've got like I think Charlie Day's working on it with Rob McAnally. So a lot of people that have been making good TV shows for a while now and started making TV shows just from scratch and have got massive now. It's their chance to prove this, and they've got a good eye for humor as well. So, well, Always Sunny's not always the most PC thing you could get, but they know when to do certain things and when not to. So, this, I feel like it's going to be a good series, but like you said, it is going to be on Apple TV Plus. I feel like everything has a plus at the end of it now. I'm losing track of what is plus and what's not.
Well, I don't know how Ubisoft is involved in this, but it was announced on their stage, so I'm guessing they must have some type of involvement, and this is their second like TV venture TV/film venture that they've announced. So that's pretty interesting in its own right as well. And last but not least,
so the only thing I know about that is it's vaguely spoke about it, like just for a slight moment they spoke about it. Sorry, it is a partnership between him and Ubisoft, and I think they're just helping to sort of give the idea of what it's like to work in the games industry, so they get chance to go around and sort of assess everything, and people help them to work out like if the stuff in the show game wise or character wise is representative of the actual games industry.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's called. It's called like it's like doing research basically, but there's like a term for it where like you take like real life examples and you implement it. Just basically just making sure that it's as real as it can be to an actual game development team. So that will be really interesting. Yeah, for sure. Well, as I was saying before, and last but not least, the team behind Assassin's Creed Odyssey was working on something very different called Gods and Monsters, which still kind of looks like it goes into Greek mythology.
Yeah, it does. They confirm that.
But looks to be... I don't know what the scale or scope of this game is. I don't know what kind of style it's going to be. I don't know how big it's going to be. But people are reporting that it's a much smaller game. So I'm not sure how this is going to be received. And if it will be a smaller game, how much smaller will it be in comparison to Assassin's Creed Odyssey? And how will they be able to justify releasing a much smaller game in scope if it will be for the same price as, say, for example, an Assassin's Creed Odyssey? What are your thoughts about that?
Sounds interesting. It looks like a sort of take on Zelda with Greek mythology, you could say. They have said that there's going to be dungeons, monsters and stuff like that. So, there is a chance to fight monsters, roam around in the grass, and also, traverse some dungeons. I'm going to guess there'll be some sort of skeletons in there as well. So, it's like I don't think it's going to be that much of a mature game. It is a 12, so it seems like it sort of takes a step back from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Still focused on that Greek mythology, but in a more light-hearted way, you could say. It's sort of filling like the void that stuff like Skylanders, there's not been much games that sort of fill this void of like a tween sort of, I don't know, not RPG as such, but tween action adventure. Zelda's obviously only exclusive to Switch, and this would be like a nice game that's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So it's something that obviously you can pick up no matter what age you are, and probably get used to it, rather than having something like Assassin's Creed, which is quite a bit like a very much more mature. I'd probably say there's going to be a little bit of story to it, but not too much. Mainly just based off the mythology, and the rest is going to be based off exploration and just sort of slaying monsters or gaining powers from gods, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this game plays out, as it will be releasing on February the 25th, 2020. Yeah, and that's really it for the Ubisoft E3 2019 keynote event. Breaking it down all over, Ubisoft is okay. Had a few good announcements. I just think that maybe the Watch Dogs announcement was really good, and I like the Gods and Monsters announcement because it piqued my interest, and the Rainbow Six Quarantine announcement also piqued my interest because I really miss like Left 4 Dead, and I felt like they're trying to really fill that void with the co-op experience, like a zombie experience. So I give Ubisoft I give them a 6.5 out of 10. The only reason why I give them a 6.5 out of 10 because we didn't really get explanation for Beyond Good and Evil 2 not being there. There's also other games that were missing. I just felt like maybe we just wanted to see more of what's coming this year rather than in 2020. So, and it was just all a little bit just flat. Like nothing was too exciting. Like I felt like last year's Ubisoft presentation was so much more exciting than like this year. But I think that was like that with most of the last E3s. I think 2020 is really going to be a big year for E3 rather than this year, and we did say that a few times in previous shows. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give him a 7. I see why you give a 6.5, and I was thinking maybe to do the same, but I think that for me there was enough there that piqued my interest for a 7. I'm comparing it to like all the other ones as well, so all the other conferences I've watched. I think that this year a 7's probably right for the Ubisoft conference. Like you said, it is disappointing that Beyond Good and Evil 2 wasn't there and Skull and Bones wasn't there. It's disappointing they weren't anywhere to be seen. Also disappointed about the price of Uplay Plus, but Rainbow Six Quarantine, Roller Champions, Ghost Recon, Gods and Monsters, the Assassin's Creed Story Mode, and Watch Dogs Legion, all of that was sort of solid announcements for me. I feel like they did enough there, but lacked by not including games that they have mentioned before. So a 7 for me this year.
Understandable, very understandable. Yeah, also The Crew 2, that wasn't mentioned as well. That's another game. For Honor, I don't think was mentioned really. Yeah, they had a few things that they really did not speak about, which was quite surprising. So, yeah, 6.5 from me out of 10. And that was it for Ubisoft's E3 2019 keynote presentation. Thanks for listening as usual. Yeah, we'll see you on the next show.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.